Sup, y'all? Winnie here, and today it says we're going to be checking out a religious broadcasting, but considering the way that this website handles anything claiming to be religious, it's probably going to be anything but. It's Euclid, which means they can't do anything about it, I guess. Well, they struggle to do anything about it. The signal which SCP-1419 is broadcast upon is continually jammed by the Foundation. Broadcasts of it are to be recorded by Foundation personnel upon transmission. All recorded broadcasts are located in the Media Storage Vault of Site-12 and may be accessed by Level 3 or above researchers, as well as Level 2 researchers assigned to catalog the records. Current efforts to discover any privately owned copies are headed by Dr. Lemons and Agent Dan Brooks. Any individual found to possess a recording of 1419 is to be given a Class A amnestic after questioning by Foundation personnel. To date, over 26 private copies have been discovered and taken into Foundation custody. It is unknown how the owners managed to locate or record the broadcast. Description: SCP-1419 is a television signal. In a majority of cases, 85%, the signal will display static. However, the static will occasionally be replaced with religious programming, including sermons, religious rites, and funerals. While several of the religions shown appear to be similar to current or ancient faiths, see Addendum 4, a majority bear little or no resemblance to any known theology. Records indicate that the signal is owned by a corporation named Learning with God. In multiple interviews with employees of the station, which originally owned the signal, it was discovered that the only contact between the original owners and Learning with God was through emails. The papers regarding the signal's ownership were faxed to a non-existent number and were sent back signed by a Dr. Discode the following morning. When questioned about contacting the federal government during the transaction, the original owner stated that the idea never came to mind. It is unknown how the transfer occurred, as typical broadcast license transfers require government approval. Possible mind-affecting qualities of 1419 are being investigated, and there's a broadcast record log. Looks like 1964 was the first time they got it. Presentation of a sermon delivered by a man of Polynesian descent. The man speaks about the sin of guidance, encouraging parents to allow their children to act on their own in life. The man cites an apparently holy book multiple times, though he does not directly name the book. The camera occasionally cuts to audience members, a majority of whom are dressed in formal fashion and also of Polynesian descent, though there are several who are of Australian Aboriginal descent. 1967, the broadcast opens in a large white room. The area lacks any notable features or furniture/decoration. Over the course of 1 hour, 5 men enter the room at 12-minute intervals each. While in the room, the men bend their knee and face away from the camera. Each man places a small statue of a killer whale, Orcinis orca, and then leaves. 1978, there is no visual component to the signal, which displays a black screen. A female voice can be heard speaking. The audio is extremely quiet and occasionally becomes silent. The language used bears similarities to the Hessian dialect of Middle High German, though due to major differences, only a portion has been translated by the Foundation. It says several phrases in the broadcast are very similar or identical to lines from Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. 1981. The camera is placed in the back of a crowded church identified by Foundation architects as San Jeronimo el Real, St. Jerome Royal Church in Madrid. The church's architecture possesses notable alterations, including several side rooms not present in the actual cathedral. The first section of the program is a Christmas Day sermon by a Native American man identified as Father Pasha Kutek by a large banner inside the church. The priest's sermon describes the birth of Jesus Christ in a notably different manner than traditional Christianity, involving the death of Mary and Joseph as well as the ritual slaughter of several animals. See document 1419-34, transcript of Christmas 1981 broadcast for full speech. Is that in here? I probably shouldn't read it if it is. The speaker then leads the crowd outside to a stadium. The signal ended at this point, returning to static. Please refer to document 34 for further information. I'm kind of assuming it's not going to be here. 1982, the setting is in a standard Roman Catholic church in a state of extreme disrepair. There are multiple frames for stained glass windows, many of which are broken or missing. Several pews are overturned and the building appears to suffer from fire damage. The only individual inside is a young woman dressed in a robe similar to those worn by Dominican monks. The woman is praying in front of the altar. There is a large cross on the altar with 2 more axes added diagonally, resulting in a shape resembling an asterisk. The camera zooms in on the woman's hands, which are moving along a Mobius strip in a similar fashion or manner to rosary beads. No further information. 1982, a continuation of the broadcast from the same date in the previous year. The stadium is filled with several thousand people, many of whom are visibly intoxicated. The center of the arena is occupied by a large stone and a man tied to it. The man is armed with an airsoft gun and proceeds to fight several other men dressed in robes and holding machetes. The broadcast ends when the sacrifice victim is killed. The ceremony presented is very similar to that performed by the Aztecs in honor of I don't know how to say that. See Addendum 1 for further information. Aztec god of agriculture, also known as the flayed god. 1991. A group of African men are gathered around a large fire. Above the fire is a rotating pole which has impaled a large bird. The bird, similar in appearance to a harpy eagle, is estimated at 4 meters in length. The men proceed to carve and eat the bird before performing a traditional Islamic salah. What does that mean? Daily form of prayer directed towards Mecca. 1994. A large crowd is gathered on a beach led by a woman wearing a plague doctor's mask as well as a suit and tie. She sits in a plastic chair and begins to read from a large leather-bound book. The woman's voice is clear despite the mask on her face. The language used throughout her monologue bears similarities to both Arabic and French, though the transcript has yet to be translated. Refer to document 57 for a full available record, which is probably not here. After reading, the woman leads the crowd into the ocean, which appears to be a shade of orange. Last broadcast before a dark period of over a decade where static was constant. Refer to Addendum 2 for further information. And then 2011. A group of children are in a trench which extends off camera into the distance. There are several stars of David carved in the trench. After 45 minutes, a man climbs down from above the trench and begins to read from a noticeably aged paper scroll. The scroll is visible to the camera and written in Hebrew. Foundation translators have determined a portion of the scroll is a copy of Micah 3:1-4, which denounced the leaders of Israel for cannibalism and the prophets of corruption. Is that what that passage does? Give me a second. I'm going to look that up on my phone instead of on the screen. Sorry about the dead air while I check that. Yes, it is. Okay. I mean, I went to a Baptist elementary school and a Catholic high school, and I did not know about that. Interesting. I don't know why they would have had me know about that, but interesting. Anyway, addendums. Addendum 1. On February 7th, 1983, Foundation operatives in Oaxaca, Mexico received reports of a police raid on a cult suspected of human sacrifice. Said cult was routinely offering gifts to traditional Mesoamerican gods and recently held a festival in honor of the god, don't know how to say that. During the festival, a tourist was kidnapped and forced to engage in a mock battle with cult members. The tourist survived and was freed by the group. The former captive then went to the authorities, leading to the raid. The incident, due to its odd nature, was initially brought to Foundation attention. Recent review of 1419 has led researchers to suspect a connection between the December 25th broadcast of 82 and the cult incident. Further investigation is underway. I forgot to look at the thing for the Plague Doctor mask. Okay, it's just explaining the Plague Doctor mask. Addendum 2. Shortly after the February 18th broadcast was aired, 10 p.m., Foundation contacts at medical centers across the West Coast began receiving a large number of patients who attempted suicide by drowning. The number of individuals who attempted suicide was 756, 82 of whom succeeded. The survivors could provide no reasoning for their actions and were released following standard medical treatment. As of the writing of this document, the event is considered anomalous but not definitely linked to 1419. Addendum 3. Several Foundation researchers and agents noted that on June 18th and 19th, 2011, a large number of synagogues and churches in New York City were focusing on the Book of Micah, specifically the sections shown in the most recent broadcast. When questioned, the priests and rabbis failed to provide a reason for their choice, stating that they felt it was appropriate. All interviewed subjects were given Class C amnestics, and the incident is under investigation. Addendum 4. Foundation researchers have noticed similarities between the religions shown in the 1419 broadcast and modern Roman Catholicism, as well as Mesoamerican faiths, early forms of Japanese Shintoism, and Khoisan mythology? What is that? A group of indigenous people of South Africa, often referred to as Bushmen. Well, that was a weird entry, and I'm glad it didn't have any pictures. But that's going to do it for this entry, because honestly, I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, I did not know that about the Book of Micah. I was probably never going to need to know that about the Book of Micah, but I know it now, and I bet I'll forget in like 2 hours. So, if you liked it, a like and subscribe would be groovy. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.